the kind of guy that would say, hey baby, let's get away, let's go someplace, huh, where I don't care.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is WD3. This is your Hill Report news break. Well, today we're examining more into who was Charlie Kirk. You know, me personally, I didn't pay much attention to his movement, to his material. But now that everyone is paying attention to Charlie Kirk, I decided to do a little more digging. And I saw some footage and some old stories from Charlie Kirk that seem pretty recent. And they seem to suggest that he had a lot of things to say about the state of Black and white American relations. He seemed to scapegoat Black people in a lot of problems that society has already recognized that, you know, nobody can overcome these negative factors, the economic factors, the poverty factors, the lack of opportunity. If you ignore those things, that's to be intellectually dishonest. It seems like a lot of the things that I did hear him say were true on the surface, but if you dig a little more, you will see some of the factors that went into it. He seemed to highlight the factors that are, or omit some of the factors that would go into some of the arguments that he makes. But because of the divisive, controversial figure that he is and what he represents, it seems that he was no more use for Donald Trump. Specifically, he was more use with his name out there without any more messages coming from him than his name being out with him still running around spreading his messages. So I don't know. It seems like not even within hours, the Charlie Kirk conspiracy begins.
Did you notice the gesture made by the man in the white cap behind Charlie Kirk before his death? 3 signs that nobody noticed indicate that Trump was actually at the event. First, before Charlie Kirk was assassinated at Utah Valley University, a man in a white baseball cap behind him made a suspicious gesture. He adjusted his cap and then touched his ear, and immediately afterward, Kirk was attacked. The fact that the man in the white cap was able to stand so close to Kirk in such a core area is no coincidence. It's highly likely he was deliberately placed there by someone high up or was an insider. Second, the precision of the shooter's attack is equally striking. Shooting from about 200 yards away, this level of accuracy is definitely not something an ordinary person could achieve. It must have been a professional sniper or someone with military training. As of now, the shooter has not been caught, and although the FBI released 2 suspects, there has been no substantial progress, suggesting the shooter had a meticulous escape plan or possibly a protective shield. Finally, before Kirk's death, he had been actively pushing for the release of the Epstein list, but Trump had privately asked him to stop, which Kirk refused. Now, after this unfortunate incident, discussions about releasing the list have significantly cooled, unexpectedly easing the pressure on Trump regarding the list. After the incident, Trump issued a statement unusually quickly and ordered flags to be lowered to half staff until the 14th of September, with a speed that feels as if he knew Kirk's death was coming. Who do you think the mastermind behind this?
They're in every TV commercial. They get more privileges to come into society. They come into every college on preferential with lower test scores. You can't ever say anything negative. You can lose your job. You have your entire life obliterated if you say something racist. And yet we have to hear about how racist we are. The 2 groups that are poorest by race in America are Native American Indians and African Americans. We've done the most to try to help them over the last 50, 60 years. We have the Bureau of Native American Affairs in the federal government. We spent $22 trillion in the federal government trying to help Black America, and Black America is poorer today than before we tried to start to help them. $22 trillion. I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live what I believe. What do? I get dirty every single year.
Crime, like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily. No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, you know, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian?
Charlie Kirk.
Black people are only 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders. Why?
Because black people tend to be in lower economic statuses because of
Okay, no, this
CRT.
is fine. This is great.
Basically,
so you think that poverty equals crime?
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies
This is where
on
we
that.
disagree. What an insult to the working poor
So
of this
why
country.
do you think black people commit more
Well,
crime,
first
Charlie
of all,
Kirk?
so how? Let me ask you a question as
No,
my
answer
answer.
it. Go on.
What percentage of blacks have a father around when they're raised?
I'm not sure.
20%.
So that's why you
80% of
think it
blacks
is.
do not have a stable father around. It is the most predictable way to end up in prison, end up as a murderer or a criminal.
And why
It's
do
not a
you think that's
racism
a
problem.
problem?
It's not a white supremacy problem. It's a fact that black fathers impregnate women and they don't stay around with the women
And
that they have
why-
impregnated.
Charlie Kirk, do you think that
Is-
that happens more in the black community compared to others?
It's threefold. Number one, we subsidize single motherhood. Number two, it's culture. It's accepted in the black community, and it
so
shouldn't
it's
be.
culture. Okay.
Don't take my
I
word
see.
for it. Read Thomas Sowell's own book on how black culture allows single motherhood to continue into a nanny state type practice. 75% of black youth are raised without a father in the home. 75%. Is that a bigger problem or not a bigger problem than whiteness, white privilege, or white supremacy?
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes, I
about
know that.
half of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay, let's talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reasonable person.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes, I
about
know that.
half of all prisoners are black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population is black. That's according to the U.S. government. But it makes you wonder why Charlie feels the need to add an additional 12% to the black prison population. Could it be because his bigoted talking points only work if he exaggerates them? If Charlie were actually looking for the race that makes up half the prison population in the U.S., he'd look no further than white people at 57%.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
Wrong. The word "so" is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
So
Exactly.
blacks commit more crimes.
He's saying "so" as in therefore, as in one could conclude, but Charlie knows he's lying. Even if he hadn't just lied about the black prison population, Charlie is smart enough to know that correlation does not equal causation, but he's hoping that you don't know that. So he deploys the word "so" to make you think he's coming to an obvious conclusion.
Exactly.
So blacks
Instead, he's making an illogical, racist leap. Charlie knows that we don't have usable data about who commits crimes. It's impossible to have that data since so many crimes go both unreported and or unsolved. Charlie knows that we only have data about arrests and convictions. I'll come back to that data in a moment. What's painfully obvious is that Charlie Kirk isn't interested in understanding the statistics he so carelessly misquotes. He's interested in making bad faith arguments. Something that becomes even more obvious in his next point.
blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Wrong again, and loud this time. If Charlie were interested in honesty, he would have mentioned the other 1350 statistic. Yes, black people are about 13% of the population, but make up 53% of all criminal exonerations. In fact, black people make up 55% of all murder exonerations specifically. Black people are more likely than any other group in this country to be convicted of crimes they did not commit. And then people like you have the nerve to parade these stats around as though they prove something. The reality is that you probably know these stats, but you leave them out on purpose. Because to bring that stat into this conversation would make some people think. And that's the last thing a person like you wants.
The real F around and find out moment is here. A lot of people are looking at the black community thinking that we are the recipients and benefactors of DEI programs and affirmative action programs. And I know affirmative action is no longer, but whenever they hear the term DEI or they hear the term affirmative action, they look to the black community thinking that we are the benefactor. Now, here's some information for you. The number one recipient of DEI are white women. That is according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And others fall under that group, under the minority group, the ethnic minority. Number one recipient under that group are Latino and Hispanic Americans. Number two are Asian Americans. Number three are Native Americans. Number four, individuals with disability. Number five, veterans. Okay? And number six, the LGBTQ plus community. And guess who comes last at receiving DEI benefits? Guess who comes last? That's right. Black Americans. Black people. Let me also say, you can do a Google search and you will see the primary benefactors of DEI programs are not only white women, but white men, white male CEOs. Those are the ones who have benefited the most from DEI.
Hey, let's just stop talking about our problems. So problems do not disappear.
I actually don't think it's an issue nearly as much as you do. I think we've made it a bigger issue.
I'm not making it a bigger issue. I'm just discussing. This is just my
No,
talking
I'm saying generally. But like, let's just say, and then I do want to get your definition though. What is racism?
Racism is a form of feeling superiority. It is expressed through discrimination and through the legal system.
Oh, fair enough. So we agree that's wrong and it's terrible. So we should get rid of practices that actively discriminate against anybody based on race. Can you be racist against white people?
Can I?
Yes. Can a black person like yourself be racist against a white person?
Absolutely. Okay,
good. We agree, and you should be applauded for that because some people on the left think you can't be racist against white people.
So just to speak for black people,
that's quite a statement, but sure.
well, let me speak for the majority of who are of my opinion. So when blacks who, let's say, have disdain for whites, it is not based on racism. It is based on cause and effect. It is normal for anybody to hate a suppressor. It is normal for anybody to hate their murderers. America went to war with the British Empire for being suppressed and oppressed. So my concluding point is that a lot of the hate that can be perceived from blacks as white is hating oppression, not white people. Because if you substitute our oppression for a Mexican, if a Mexican oppresses us, we therefore hate him as well. If a black man oppresses us, we therefore hate oppression.
I think that's a fair point. Let me ask one final question, if that's okay. If you had to decide which is a bigger problem facing black America, racism or a lack of fathers raising black kids, which is a bigger problem?
I would say what impact? Repeat the question.
If you had to decide in a binary choice, which is a bigger problem facing black America, racism or a lack of fathers raising black youth?
I think it's a combination of both, but for sure we'll say black because blackness affects blacks more than you ever affected me in my life.
I'm sorry, so you said you would say racism or the black fathers? I agree. So now we have agreement. Do you agree that the last 5 years we've talked more about racism and way less about dads staying around with the women they impregnate? Would you agree that's probably a problem?
I agree that's a problem amongst all races. When you say we, who is we?
Well, as a society, but it's especially a problem in black America. If you had to guess, I know this is like Trivial Pursuit, but approximate, what percentage of black youth have a stable father around?
I wouldn't know those numbers, sir.
It's about 30%. So that means that 2 out of 3 black kids do not have a dad around.
Mm-hmm. I would have to fact check that for myself.
That's fine. You can look it up. You guys can look it up on Grok or ChatGPT or Perplexity or the AI of your choice, right? And so here's our perspective as conservatives, because this is a colorblind truth. See, as conservatives, we apply things that are true to all human beings regardless of their skin color. That if you don't have a dad around, you're more likely to commit crimes, go to jail, more likely to basically be on the outer fringe of society. When 2 out of 3 black youth don't have dads around, that's a big, big problem. And it creates a cycle of violence and poverty. That's not racism, that's culture. and the cultural problems happening in Black America, the white people are not doing that to Black
Do we
people.
not look at the sources of poverty? When I spoke about redlining, that was literally whites forcing blacks into ghettos because they would not give us houses.
No one's going to defend that.
Ignore that.
No one's going to defend that. But
you cannot ignore who created the ghettos.
Let me ask a simple
it's
question.
Disingenuous.
Well, hold on. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you have to leave the woman you impregnate.
Correct.
That does not transcend every racial group. I want an answer, though, because I'm curious. Why is it that so many black men leave the women that they impregnate, more so than any other group? Why is that? Is that the white person's fault?
No.
Okay. So maybe the biggest problem facing Black America is self-actualized.
Right. I'm not arguing what's the biggest and smallest problems. I was just asking you white privilege, because it exists.
For sure. But what I'm arguing is that as a society, we had entire years of corporate apologizing, television advertisements talking about racism in America, and zero attention saying, hey, dudes of all colors, don't impregnate women and abandon them because you're cowards. Why hasn't anybody ever said that? Because that actually would fix the country.
What makes you think that hasn't been said amongst the black community? I'm a black father. It's been...
Well, thank you. Amazing. Can you point to a single black artist, rapper, or athlete that has said that in the last decade?
About specifically saying black fathers should be involved in their children's life?
No, saying don't abandon the women you impregnate.
Oh, they haven't said it in those words, but they do promote black family ties, which is essentially the same thing.
I'm not trying to nitpick, but do you think most rappers promote staying with their family or not staying with the women that they impregnate?
The rappers that I listen to, the J. Cole's, the Kendrick Lamar's, they preach family values.
Okay, I'm not an expert in American rap, but if American rap is promoting family values, then I guess I'll...
Not in its full totality. You have different genres of rap. You have gangster rap, conscious rap, hip hop, so forth and so on. But for the artists that I listen to, they absolutely promote.
He did it. I think they arrested the wrong guy. I think whoever did it was a good shooter, a sharp shooter. It was one shot right directly to the heart, and we need to find out who did this. I think there should be a research completely done that took place hours, maybe a day before anything went on. Who could be there and pull that trigger and do it? And I don't think it was George Zim. He was poor, broke. He maybe was on medication, a little bit loony boon, maybe a perfect person to pick and say that did it, but I don't think he did it at all.
So at this point, but did you see him taken into custody? Did you see him with any kind of thing in his hand, any device in his hand or anything like that?
Yeah, I saw when they actually put the handcuffs behind his back.
Okay.
I followed them.
All right,
when
we're going to go to Jason Chafe.
Confirm the university, no suspect in custody. They've released that individual. Okay. And they're still looking for him. Do they think he's in this building? They think in this building right now?
No, we have cameras that show that he left campus.
Okay, shows cameras that he left campus. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, welcome back, you guys. This is WD3, the Hill Report News Break. Yeah, the Charlie Kirk conspiracy has already begun. People are saying that they saw a gentleman on the roof. People are saying that a gentleman behind him was having all kind of hand signals like he was a third base coach. I don't know if those things actually have anything to do with the actual incident, but it does seem like nowadays in the internet age, ever since folks start paying attention to guys like Alex Jones and those type of guys, that every single incident, no matter what it is, whether it's Kobe Bryant having a helicopter crash, whether it's a bombing in Atlanta, or whatever happens, people are going to pick it apart to the nth degree. And folks have said they saw a guy on a roof. They said the guys who were arrested were a diversion. They said that the guy's message was stale, no longer needed. He became more of a liability to Donald Trump's agenda than an asset. All these things, you will have to be the judge. But one thing is for sure, the Charlie Kirk conspiracy has begun.